really looks like a mismatch. Larry Donald, world-rated heavyweight, against unknown James Gaines, who tips the scale at over 300 pounds. Although everywhere he's fought, Gaines has made a big impression.
Every time I come out there, them fat boy hear people giggling while I'm walking down. Oh, this gonna be over quick, you know. Oh, look at the belly. Oh, he's slow. When I come out the ring, everybody's for me. Yeah, I like that. I don't know, I guess my heart, my speed, just trying the best I can do, and that's what I do.
Well, trying his best be enough for Gaines tonight against the slick, talented Donald, whose style you would think would be a nightmare to one who weighs over 300 pounds.
Basically, what I have to do is, you know, keep the pace fast. You know, keep the pace fast, work my jab. Everything works off my jab, you know. You know, not just, you know, 1, 2. You're talking about combinations after the jab. You know, keep a fast pace. That would make the big difference.
He's going to be in for a big surprise. I think, you know, I'm going to come after him, and that's what I'm going to do. Got a problem with starting slow in the first couple rounds. I'm going to try not to, do my best not to, because he's the kind of fighter, if you can get on him, that he gets worried. And that's what I want to do. I want to worry him.
You take a look at James Gaines, and we have seen many fighters who have stepped in the ring completely out of condition, blowing up over 300 pounds, and they are there basically to take up space and get knocked out pretty easily. Why is James Gaines different?
Well, he does take up a lot of space, but he's gone 10, two of his last 3 fights. His last fight, he went 12 rounds. This is a kid in Gaines who has a lot to prove in boxing. He loves the sport of boxing. He can go the rounds. He has a lot of stamina. A lot of fighters with that weight, you would think they have no stamina, but surprisingly, he does.
And what does Larry Donald have to win out of this? It looks like a no-win situation.
You know,
if he looks great, then they could say, well, you know, Gaines, you know, is a guy shouldn't be in the ring with him. And if he loses to a guy over 300 pounds.
Yeah, he's got a lot to lose in this fight. But for him, he has to stay focused and hope that he gets a knockout. To put a fighter like Gaines out would be a difficult task, but not impossible. He's got to prove that he is somebody to reckon with.
All right, let's take a look at the Nicoderm tail of the tape and the Tuesday night fight scale. Getting a heck of a test in this one. Scale needed a 10-minute break before weighing in the next fight, as Gaines tipped it at 318 pounds. Taking a look at the rules, we are in Maryland. And this is how they shape up for this 10-rounder. Standing 8 count not in effect. 3 knockdown rule in effect. Saved by the bell only in the final round. Scoring on the 10-point must scoring system. We're ready for the introduction, so let's go to our ring announcer tonight, wearing the black tuxedo and the maroon accessories. Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Buto.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's bouts are under the auspices of the Maryland State Athletic Commission. The chairman is Carl N. Milligan, Jr., Executive Director Pat Pinella, and the Secretary of the Maryland Department of Labor, Licensing, and Regulation, Eugene A. Conte, Jr. Cedric Kushner Promotions, in association with Baltimore Pro Bouts, Wagner Promotions, and Budweiser, This Bud's for You, presents 10 rounds heavyweights. Your referee for this event from Baltimore, Maryland, Jodi Wingfield. Introducing now the principals first, in the red corner to my right, wearing the black trunks, weighing in at 318 pounds. His professional record, 12 victories, 2 defeats. He has 10 wins by way of knockout. He hails from Knoxville, Tennessee. Here is James Gaines. His opponent in the blue corner, wearing the white trunks, black trim, weighing 237 1/2 pounds. His professional record, 21 victories, 1 defeat, 1 draw. He has 15 wins by way of knockout. He hails from Cincinnati, Ohio, and now
Protect yourself at all times and obey my commands. Good luck to you.
Larry Donald, 21-1-1, his lone defeat to Riddick Bowe, and in a fight in which there were no low blows. And here's a guy, Sean, technically masterful in the ring, very picturesque fighter, has terrific size, has a good chin, he has all the ingredients. So what is missing?
You know, he's just not been able to take the next step in boxing. When he went up to fight Riddick Bowe, it was a really what was going to be a defining fight for him. But Riddick Bowe slapped him at the press conference, got him way out of his game. He went into the fight really a bit fearful of Riddick Bowe, and it was a horrible performance for him. Now he's trying to rebuild in hopes that he can get another shot at somebody, even a Riddick Bowe. But in tonight's fight, this is so critical and vital to his career because he cannot allow himself to degrade down to the level of a James Gaines. Gaines is a rather unassuming looking fighter. He is a very nice person outside the ring, and he is way overweight inside the ring, but he has some good skills.
Going to the body is Larry Donald. Matter of fact, James Gaines in his last fight went the full 12 rounds against Obed Sullivan, who you will be seeing in our main event. And Obed, who has a very high knockout ratio, found it very difficult to put James Gaines on the canvas. He has never been down. And the curiosity is, if he gets down, how does he get up?
Yeah, and you have to be cautious with a fighter like James Gaines. I don't care who they are. If they weigh 318 pounds, they do have power. So what Donald does not want to do is get hit. You see how low that left hand of Larry's is.
James Gaines started his career with 12 straight wins, 10 by knockout. Then he stepped up. He lost a 10-rounder to undefeated Ahmad Abdin, and then went to 12 against Obed Sullivan 5 months ago. So he has put in some distance fights despite the size and the lack of condition, which he understands. He says he's trying to lose weight, and it's so difficult. He says he really doesn't eat a lot. He says he consumes a lot of liquids, especially milk. He loves milk. He drinks it by the gallon. So he probably pours it over the entire cake and, pops the cake in his mouth and then washes it down. But he understands the problem. The most he ever weighed was 345 pounds. And I asked him, what would be the ideal weight? What would you like to be? He said 240, and then his face opened in an incredible smile. He looked up to the skies and said, that is my dream to get down to 240 pounds. But as you can see, has great difficulty in doing that.
A long way to go.
Inside the final 10 seconds of round number 1. Donald so far getting nowhere as we pause for word from your local cable systems.
Calyx and Corolla, the Flower Lovers Flower Company. That's right, 1-800-733-2815.
First 3 minutes gone of this fight, although it seemed as if it were 6 minutes in that first round.
Yeah, one thing that Donald cannot do is allow for this fight to drag on. He can't allow it to be a dull, banal fight. Donald is the one trying to sell himself to move up, to advance in the heavyweight division. He can't allow for this to be a sleeper.
Well, Donald, for many fights in his career, winning 21 with just one defeat, looks like a sleeper in the ring, in that he is extremely laid back, almost you watch a Sam Perkins play in the NBA with Seattle, how laid back he looks, and I think Donald is the Sam Perkins of boxing, but there may be a difference. Larry Donald, and I think his management team realized it is time to step up to get it on. He has to, they felt he has to fight here tonight and win big which would be taking out James Gaines. Nobody else has been able to do that, and doing it early, but they just feel Donald's got to get in there and turn it up, that he has to add some meanness, and that he really doesn't have that much time. He's going to be 30 in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and he's not going to do that at this pace. He is a boxer, he says, with power. He says his best power is in his left hook, but he cannot stand around. He's got to make this an exciting fight. You got to get that jab working, put some combinations in there. And speaking to him today, he knew that. He said his fight plan, he's going to feel him out in the first round and adapt.
There it is.
But he's feeling out a little bit too much. There's a good combination from Donald. Donald needs the explosions. James Gaines says of his style, I am a combination fighter. I throw a lot of combinations. We've not seen that many from him. His best punch, he says, the right cross for Gaines. And if he could bring that right cross just behind the left jab, he would land effectively because Donald carries that left hand down.
Gaines just not doing what he said he would. To come right at Donald and to be on top of him, to take away Donald's jabbing and boxing room. Gaines said he'd be nervous early, says he always is. And then once he gets going, he's okay. He is one of the nicest, sweetest fighters that we have met in 15 years of Tuesday night fights.
After the interview, you come away going, why is he fighting?
That's right. Big smile all the time. Very lovable. James Gaines.
Teddy bear.
Yep. But he says the crowd generally cheering for him when he ends the fight. Right now, the crowd wants to see some fight.
Mobil 1. Of all the oils in the world, there isn't one that outperforms Mobil 1. At Mobil, we've been changing oil for over 125 years.
Happy holidays from Tuesday Night Fights. Tonight we are in Pikesville, Maryland, just outside of Baltimore. And the first of two heavyweight co-features. Do I have to tell you this was a heavyweight bout? James Gaines, the 25-year-old from Knoxville, Tennessee, 12-2 with 10 knockouts, 6'6", 318 pounds. And as an infant, was so tiny that his family thought he might not even be able to make it. Said he would never eat as a young child, but as you can see, made a dramatic turnaround. He probably had, members of his family when he was young. Everybody was always telling him to eat. Certainly made an impression. Now he just hears, don't eat, don't eat. But James Gaines says now he's after this fight. You wonder, here's a guy who has decent skills, not bad mobility for his size. What happens if he was able to trim down and get in condition, something he has battled now his adult life. There's Donald upstairs. So Larry Donald, who exploded on the scene after 14 professional fights. He was ranked number 5 in the world after he had knocked off another undefeated prospect by the name of Jeremy Williams. And then right after that, he stopped Bert Cooper with some lightning accurate jabs that repeatedly found the mark and closed Cooper's left eye, and the fight was stopped. And that jettisoned Donald into the matchup with Riddick Bowe, where he just did not appear in that fight. Inside a minute to go in round number 3.
That fight with Jeremy Williams you're talking about, he said Jeremy kept talking to me during the fight, kept saying, you hit like a girl. He said that made him mad, made him fired up. In this fight, James Gaines, perhaps if he would have talked to Donald, we'd see a much better fight. But James might talk to him saying, please, yes, sir, and no, sir, and please don't hit me. Or
nice punch.
Nice punch, yeah. It's something you don't want to hear as a fighter.
Gaines' strength blocking shots, and he's got the big arms to do it, and may not feel those punches to the midsection, at least not early. And he also has straight rights, and that's what he is trying to get in over that dropped left of Donald. Donald showing a little bit of that speed upstairs, but perhaps would be better off now going to the body. A festive look tonight on a night in which main event, Obed Sullivan, 9th-ranked heavyweight in the world, against the local Sam Hampton, who likes to slug and has most of his gas early, so he may take it to Obed Sullivan in the first couple of rounds for his shot at an upset. Right here, we move into round 4 of the scheduled 10-rounder. Al Albert along with the champ, Sean O'Grady. Ringside on the 1996 Tuesday night fight finale. Getting a few weeks off before we return on January 7th of 97.
Philadelphia.
Renault champ last year. You kind of got that sock drawer pretty well rearranged. What's left for your vacation this year?
My sock drawer? Let's see now.
You think about that.
Now I'm working the T-shirt drawer. James Gaines putting a little bit pressure on this round. He's moving forward. He's changing his style a bit, which he needed to do, losing those first 3 rounds, obviously.
Gaines goes into the later rounds, falling deep behind. Have to pull out that big shot. He does have 10 knockouts in his 12 victories, but has never fought the likes of Larry Donald, who has a very good chin.
He is a slow starter, and he normally comes on late in a fight, James Gaines does. But unfortunately for him, so does Larry Donald.
You would think that Gaines would tire terribly later in the fight, but in his last 3 fights, he's gone the distance in all 3, 10, 10, and 12 rounds.
Yeah, but he's not getting hit in the body like Larry Donald can hit you in the body. You know, it's so much easier. I see fighters in matches like these going for the head when you have a great big body down there just waiting to be hit.
But see, Larry Donald's doing the same thing that Obed Sullivan did in his fight with Gaines. He's going upstairs.
Yeah, there is a way to knock the fighters out. Every fighter out there is a way to knock them out. The real fun in this sport of boxing is figuring that way out. What you have to do against a fighter like Gaines is forget the head. You got 12 rounds to work with, and 10 rounds to work with, and in 10 rounds, you're going to be able to do a lot of damage downstairs to his body. Also, see the way he stands? Kind of pushing his waist out there, Gaines does, pushing his body forward. Well, that is an inviting target to hit. It hurts your opponent. It hurts your opponent to hit him in the chin. It also hurts your hands to hit him in the chin or in the head. To go downstairs to the body, it doesn't hurt.
I don't really think he's pushing it out there.
The price.
Back on Tuesday night fights. Larry Donald is ranked number 9 by the WBO, but the best he can do in any of the other organizations, number 20 by the WBC. So he has become pretty much a forgotten man and has to make a statement somewhere along the line. Pretty impossible for him to make any kind of a statement here tonight, kind of in a catch-22 situation. You know, getting back to what you were talking about in the last round, Sean, with Larry Donald going upstairs against Gaines, as Obed Sullivan had done, so he should be going to the body. With Gaines having the padding around the body, why would Donald be more effective going to the body as opposed to the head?
Because it doesn't hurt your hands to hit that soft body. And I know you've got a lot to work with there. You have a lot of weight that you have to punch through. But even doing that, the punches to the body accumulate. Opponents can shake off the head shots, but the punches downstairs, one works off the last one that you just threw. And you got to search around for those holes in the body too. You tear your opponent apart by hitting him, whether it's on the short rib, whether it's right in the xiphoid process, right in the solar plexus, or on the liver. over the heart. There's a number of places you really try to search to tag your opponent and debilitate him.
How does a fighter shake off shots to the head?
They clear the cobwebs. They don't clear the cobwebs in the body.
I would think they kind of shake up the cobwebs.
And you hit a fighter in the head many times. You hit him in the head and you hurt him, and then you hit him again and it knocks him too. You don't hit a fighter in the body and it knocks him too. It hurts. It hurts to get hit in the body. It doesn't hurt to get hit in the head. You go to sleep.
Well, from one man who certainly has the experience.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Sir Albert.
And a living example of a man who has been hit in the head just a little bit too much.
I think I'll show you how that works.
We're down to 30 seconds left in the fifth. I'm hoping to return for the sixth.
Just believe me, that's the way it works.
And the pace, believe it or not, even slowing down here. And the referee, Jodi Wingfield, taking Gaines into his corner. A little repair on the gloves.
Yeah, a lot of sweat from these fighters, and that sweat pulls that tape off. Tape around the laces.
Right now, Larry Donald has not really been too concerned about defense. Not much of an offensive thrust from James Gaines in the first 5 rounds.
Beauty, adventure, drama. All these and more can be yours in the wonderful world of art. And with this free art test
on USA
and nowhere else.
One of the fast rising undefeated heavyweights, Hasim Rahman from Baltimore. And he looks well rested at ringside. He had a fight tonight. He was in the prelim, and with a smile on the face, you kind of get an idea how he did. But if we have some time later, we'll show you a little of that.
Shame he's not in this fight.
I know. He wants to get in the ring with Larry Donald, doing a little of the Donald shuffle. Rahman also wanted to be in the main event against Obed Sullivan.
Okay.
I'll go for that.
That'll be fine with me. He could fight the pre-fight and then fight this fight and fight the main event.
But it appeared as if Sullivan's people didn't seem to be too interested in that. Could understand why.
Yeah, well, you know,
Obed may have been ready for it and wanted it, but a management decision that might not be the way to go right now.
Yeah, you know why? That's why you have a manager in boxing to turn those fights down. You'll fight them all, but the manager can turn them down. You know, and what that top 10 in this heavyweight division has become is really just a holding place for fighters who want to fight for the championship. All the money in boxing is when you fight for the championship of the world. In the heavyweight championship of the world, you get a lot of money to fight for that title, even more so than the other weight divisions. But what that top 10 has become is only a place for you to sit idle and wait your turn for a world championship fight. Unfortunately,
the logjam of the heavyweight division.
It would be great to see a playoff system in boxing.
And that is the main event. Obed Sullivan, not against The Rock, but against a guy who looks like The Rock, Sam Hampton. And now Donald opening it up. Oh, there's the right return by Gaines, and the crowd going crazy with a hint of action here in round number 6.
And even a smile on the face of Gaines. He even likes this.
He's mixing it up.
Yeah, he has to.
Come here, says Gaines.
Nice jab. That is Donald's best punch.
The smile again by Gaines. Now he knows he's in something. So right here, Larry Donald woke up James Gaines, who has a pretty good uppercut, which he displays right there.
Yeah, he says he loves that weapon, a right uppercut.
So this one has just begun.
James Gaines said his fight plan tonight was to kill the jab of Larry Donald with a right over the top. He said Donald a good fighter, respectable jab.
10 seconds to go in the 6th. It's a scheduled 10-round fight. And we'll pause now for a word from your local cable systems.
It's challenging. That's what I love about it. I trust my instincts.
It's different running your own business.
My work is everything. It's pure adrenaline.
But me.
Larry Donald with his best punches of this fight, cracking on the face of James Gaines, but those punches gains a smile from James.
Sweet baby James. James Gaines comes in at 12-2, looking to make an impression.
Nice jab. Donald has a terrific jab.
And tonight is the first time that James has a lot to gain other than weight. If he could come off with a big surprise, but cracking through upstairs is Larry Donald.
And they're asking for more pressure from the corner of Donald. In his corner, longtime veteran trainer James Morton.
Thanks also trying to light a fire under Larry Donald.
Yeah, he knows what he needs out of Donald. He needs some explosions.
Larry Donald, a late start in boxing. His first amateur bout did not come until he was 18 years old. Went to the Olympics, where he lost in the quarterfinals in 1992 to the eventual gold medalist, Roberto Bellotto. And Donald then turned pro in January of '93. He had 16 pro fights in his first 19 months. He's only been fighting as a pro for 4 years.
Well, he was 55-6 as an amateur. He beat our friend Samson Baua 3 times in the amateurs. Larry Donald did. He enjoyed watching Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Leonard. A friend asked him one day to go to the gym with him, and he did, and he took up boxing. His friend did not.
Well, Donald said after watching the greats, he used to go back to the house and just do a lot of shadow boxing in the mirror. That was his experience before he was taken to the gym.
And sometimes be shadow one. Oh, good combination. Up and over.
There he goes.
Donald, this is what Larry needs now. You got to step around with these punches. You got to mix the combinations up, and while you're doing that, walk around your opponent. Make him look ridiculous with sharpshooting jabs like that. His head flying back, pop him around. You can't go down to his level. You have to work off your adversary. And in this fight, Larry is allowing for Gaines to get off too much. Gaines is slowing Larry down.
Root out, Michael. Why wait for cold pills to start working? Alka-Seltzer Plus cold medicine is ready to rush relief the instant you take it. So what are you waiting for? Get fast relief. Get Alka-Seltzer Plus.
Ringsiders getting ready to get excited. There was one flurry a couple of rounds ago, and that is about it in this one. Larry Donald controlling from the outside with the jabs, snapping it out like that. Looking for a 10-round workout here against James Gaines, who is hard to remove from his feet. And Gaines also needs to mount an attack. He said he was going to crowd Larry Donald early, which he did not. Perhaps he's now saving it for late in the fight.
Well, he is crowding him now, but he's not cutting off the ring. Gaines backs him to a corner, and Larry Donald, real slippery, just slides out. Donald, good footwork, though. He says now of his career, just trying to stay busy. There's Donald. He said stay in shape, be ready for the opportunity. He still says he wants to be the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Good right hand.
What does Larry Donald get out of this fight?
Work and the win. But really, I've talked before about fights that for a fighter, you should not have your fighter on television with a fight like this because of the presentation.
Oh, Gaines walks into that right.
Gaines has a lot of heart and a lot of good skills, but somebody should just take and teach him what he needs to do in his career. He's got good power. He needs to deliver that power a little bit better. Just take the little step for him. He's going to have to work on that waist, and you've got to get that waist off of him. You got to mix in a diet along with a conditioning program. He's obviously in shape because this is the 8th round. He's still putting the pressure on. He's taking a lot of punches, and he's delivered a lot of punches. It takes more for him to move around because there's more of him to move around. So he's in shape. Now he needs to step up to the next level. The next level is the presentation and delivery of his punches.
James actually cuts off the ring just by stepping into it. Taking up so much of it. But a good-natured kid, and at the age of 25, there's certainly time to be able to take off some of the weight.
Good right hand from Donald. Up and down.
9,000. That's 800-848-9000 for the Wall Street Journal.
Larry Donald cracking in. Gaines keeps his hands up nicely, but on the outside, and boom, there was an inside left hook from Larry Donald.
But did not register on the James Gaines Richter scale. Had twisted around, but no factor. And Gaines heard it in his corner. They want him to pick up the action and put some offense into the attack.
Yeah, they want him to quit letting Donald counterpunch. I don't think Gaines is really letting him. I think Donald is taking the initiative on the counterpunch. But the way you do that is you counter your opponent's counter. When he counterpunches, you counter his counter.
Gaines almost knocking out our ringside cameraman. Gaines taking out the ring even outside the ring. But here he is, 9th round, still snapping out the jab. He's on top of Donald, somewhere inside there. It's pretty good looking young heavyweight.
Yeah, look at those jabs from him. And he really has some good skills. He just needs to be taught a little bit of grooming. What he needs at this point is a grooming coach that can take him to the next level. He needs really what Larry Donald has in his corner, and that is the experience of someone like a Jenks Morton. Someone that can teach him more about the game of boxing.
Waiting in the wings, Obed Sullivan, 9th-ranked heavyweight by the IBF. And he should have Sam Hampton in his face in the opening rounds of that one. Although it's Hampton's first big shot.
It is.
They may kind of feel those lights early.
Yeah, step up for him. But he comes into that fight with a lot to prove and a lot to show. He wants to prove that he is a force to be reckoned with.
Donald on the toes, has a man now where he wants him, and connects with the right hand. And again, straight right by Donald, senses a window of opportunity, and slugging back comes Gaines.
Nice explosion from Donald. Gaines knows when he gets tagged real hard like that, his head goes flying, that's when he needs to put pressure on and punch. If he's not punching, the referee will stop the fight. You know, Gaines has to work his neck muscles, because when you get hit in the top of the head and your neck goes flying like that, that is a horrible impression to the judges. And the way you do that is you work your neck muscles where you take that shot on the top of your forehead and keep your neck down, or keep your chin down. Also, when your head is up there like that, your chin is exposed. having hit the Adam's apple a number of times, getting hit in the top of the head, that hurt.
If you don't do it this round,
right down to the core.
Yeah, squeeze the cider right out of it.
All right, let's go inside of the corners right now.
Stocky, you got to be on him. You can't let him sit out there and jab you. You know the combinations he was using on you. Why can't you? Water. Stocky's his ass round. Can you win it? Can you go all out? Can you go all out? You're going to have to. And you got to get him. If you get him in the last round,
Don't stand alone.
There's Danks Morton with final instructions from Larry Donald. Danks wishing that he was not giving instructions heading into a 10th round, that his man would end this earlier. And does James Gaines have enough strength to get through the 10th round? Not only going 10 and not being in the greatest of condition, he also has to lug 318 pounds around for 10 rounds.
Yeah, that is a big man.
And James trying to pick it up early. Donald has this fight in the back pocket on the scorecards. Crowd voicing their opinion of the overall first 9 rounds as we start number 10. I think the way to motivate James Gaines would be that, hey, to go out there and knock him out. We've got Elsie the cow back there in the locker room. We got a couple of gallons of milk for you.
Yeah, he loves milk. And milk is such a bad thing for an athlete to drink. It's a dairy product, and it gives you cotton mouth. If you drink a lot of milk before a fight or before an athletic event, it gives you cotton mouth.
Sure, the Milk Association will appreciate that. What is your home phone number?
I'm working for you, Al. Al told me to say that.
Well, it's countered though by James Gaines. All right, we're coming down to the halfway mark of round number 10. Although I don't know if he would be the poster child for the Milk Association. All right, Larry Donald now feels the end coming.
What a poster that would be.
Very little holding on in this fight. And there's the tape. We'll have a momentary delay momentarily.
Let him go. Quit waiting on him to punch.
Is that blood on the side now of James Gaines' head? And if it is, looks as if it is his.
Work, baby, work.
Work. I'd say that's good advice from the corner. But he is getting worked. There's a good uppercut from Gaines.
Larry Donald coming off a fight November 8th where he shut out Richard Mason over 10 rounds. And now this one just getting back in the ring. Certainly got a nice 10-round workout.
Oh, yeah. Well, he said it's his biggest win. A 318-pound opponent.
There's the time remaining in the fight. So for those tuning in at the start of this fight and just seeing the sight of James Gaines, how would you rate then what he looks like here in his 15th pro fight against the WBO's 9th-ranked heavyweight?
Pretty good prospect. He has no business in the ring with Larry Donald. He has not won a round. I think he has a lot of things to work on. He is obviously not in the class of Larry Donald. Larry Donald did what he had to do to win the fight. I think he should have tried more on a knockout, although Gaines is difficult to stop. He's never been stopped in his career. But I would like to have seen some more from Larry Donald.
The clean face of Larry Donald never really approached with any danger by the offense of James Gaines, and now just waits the decision, which we'll have when we return on USA's Tuesday Night Fight.
Free airtime with your new cellular phone from Radio Shack.
Welcome back to the Pikesville Armory. We are ready for the decision. It's just a question of whether it was a shutout or not. Mark Bureau will tell us.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a unanimous decision. Judges Bill Holmes and Penny Chevalier both score the bout 190, and Judge Gary Camponeschi scores it 186, all to the winner, Larry Donald.
Well, without a knockdown in the fight, a couple of 10-8 rounds in there. And Larry Donald goes to 22-1-1 with the one-sided victory over James Gaines. And we have more heavyweights ahead. Main event coming up on USA's Tuesday Night Fights. Larry Donald, a winner tonight against James Gaines.